Using the social media is a good way to get their message out to the younger generation. As for a motive, police say right now they don't have one. The suspect was not acting alone. In fact, authorities say he was very organized in the way he was trying to make a profit and putting others in misery. Phones at the St. Charles County Tax Office have been ringing off the hook. Citizens are opening their property tax bill for 2011, thinking the county made a mistake. St. Charles County Councilman Joe Brazel says the county took that very seriously. They researched it, had their legal team analyze it, and drafted a law banning protests at funerals that they say will be upheld in court. This quiet neighborhood was swarming with police activity when neighbors started arriving home from work. A lot of shock and questions about what was happening at this house on Camelot Estates. Look at it this way. The stores disregarding the ordinance is no different than, say, having a speed limit sign in Chesterfield Drive or saying that on one day and one day only, they're going to break the law and speed, but don't give us a ticket. The union says the city can balance the budget by reducing paid overtime and adjusting staffing requirements. That's what members say they will push in a proposed meeting, which the city has yet to accept. 3 blocks of the loop in this direction is in St. Louis. The rest of the strip is in University City. The medical examiner has ruled out homicide as cause of death, so detectives here are no longer investigating the death of the 2-year-old girl from South City. And the investigation will try to determine why he ignored security procedures and whether he had any knowledge of these escape plans. The judge told Bird that he keeps changing his story, but none of that could change his mind that Bird is the one who somehow threw 24-year-old Yasmin Rodriguez and their 23-month-old son into the Mississippi River. Bikers boycotted Grafton until a new mayor came in, inviting them back. Now bikers are back this summer, full throttle. The metal plate came crashing down here on the sidewalk yesterday afternoon. No one's hurt, but a lot of people were left scratching their heads trying to figure out why this happened. The guests will walk down the red carpet where the marching band is now playing. There, they will be greeted by Rams cheerleaders. His story is a miracle. He now has the 2 things he needed most: the Cardinals in the World Series and a new heart. And hit go. Well, I know this was working earlier. We did it a couple of times, I promise you, and I can tell you this much. Hazelwood, Missouri, the police department there does use Nixle. So if you live there, just type it in, hit go, and you'll see the alerts, and you can sign up, give your information, and you can get the alerts sent to your text messages or sent to your phone through text or your email. Jennifer, Art, I'm glad I made your day there.
That's the thing about technology, Kathleen. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Thank you, though.
We begin today with breaking news. Law enforcement officials are investigating suspicious packages in several places in the eastern U.S. and one in England. St. Louis police say the man involved in a 4-hour standoff last night was wanted for first-degree statutory rape and third-degree assault. Police were trying to arrest the suspect at a comic book store in the 5800 block of Hampton when the standoff started. It closed a 4-block stretch of Hampton for 4 hours last night. Police say the man pulled out a gun and threatened to kill himself, but they were able to get the suspect out without anyone getting hurt. And still ahead on News Channel 5 at noon, spreading the blame. The concrete company that may also be at fault in the Gulf of Mexico oil spill, and a miracle rescue. The baby found stuck in a tree days after a deadly tsunami in Indonesia. And a family of fans. We go inside a local home where Tiger Pride is on full display. There's been an arrest in connection with a shooting outside a St. Louis nightclub that left 1 teenager dead and 8 others injured. A 17-year-old was taken into custody tonight, but so far no charges have been filed. 17-year-old Renisha Cole died in the shooting. News Channel 5's Frank Wiley talked to her grieving family. Renisha was inside one of the vehicles when she was shot. Someone dropped her off at the hospital. As for the 17-year-old in custody, investigators will present their case to prosecutors tomorrow. A Webster Groves dance teacher accused of statutory rape involving a teenage girl is now facing rape and sodomy charges in the city of St. Louis. Police say 64-year-old Taurus Caston had sex with a 16-year-old girl he met through his Webster Groves dance studio, Caston Ballet. Investigators say the alleged abuse happened in both Webster Groves and at Caston's home in St. Louis. That's why he's facing charges in both jurisdictions. Police say the alleged crime happened back in 2005, but the victim in the case just came forward this past summer. A huge winter storm is socking the East Coast. A before and after shot of Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, where the Eagles were supposed to face the Minnesota Vikings tonight. The NFL moved the game to Tuesday because of the blizzard expected to dump more than a foot of snow on Philadelphia. Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell says he disagrees with the decision. He says football's played in bad weather and the fans would have gotten there, noting that the city subways and major roads were still open. The game has been rescheduled for Tuesday. You can catch it at 7 o'clock on News Channel 5. If you're heading east, you'd better check your flight before heading to the airport. Airlines are working to rebook stranded passengers and possibly add flights after the East Coast storm caused thousands of flight cancellations and left countless passengers stranded. Delta Airlines canceled 850 flights today alone. United Airlines, which canceled 110 flights today, says it could add more flights tomorrow to accommodate stranded passengers. U.S. Airways and American canceled nearly 1,000 flights today combined, and all of those cancellations are affecting travel at Lambert St. Louis International Airport. Air travel isn't the only mode of transportation being affected by the winter storm in the Northeast. Amtrak has also canceled service between New York City and Boston and several other routes as well. The last trains to leave both Boston and New York departed at 5 o'clock this evening. Amtrak says it will be monitoring the weather and may start limited service between the two cities in the morning. This might not be the only big storm this week.
We had our nice white Christmas.
It was beautiful.
It was pretty, and you know, now that storm system has just revved up big time.
Watching Anthony is an order. Did I hear you correctly?
That's an order. I'll come to your house.
Okay, I'd like to see that. Who's knocking on the door this early in the morning? Are you watching, Anthony?
That crazy man Mike.
A smash and grab at a metro station in East St. Louis is getting police attention. It's an incident that we've been following all morning, and Ryan Dean is live at the metro stop. Ryan, this is not the first time the store has been targeted, is it? Thank you, Ryan. A stretch of highway in Franklin County will be renamed in honor of a Missouri State Highway Patrol trooper killed in the line of duty. Interstate 44 from Highway 100 to St. Mary's Road overpass will be renamed in honor of Corporal Dennis E. Engelhard. A ceremony will be held in about an hour and a half at Troop C headquarters in Weldon Spring. Corporal Engelhard was investigating an accident on I-44 in Eureka on Christmas Day last year when a car lost control in the snow and hit him. He died from his injuries. St. Louis University faculty, students, and staff have been notified about a computer breach of the university's network. The school's vice president issued a statement saying the ITS security team has determined that a database containing some personal information has been accessed illegally. The core banner and SLU Care systems were not affected. A woman and her 3 children are homeless today after a fire destroyed their home. We were at the scene as the building burned at 16th and St. Louis Avenue in East St. Louis this morning. The family lived in an apartment on the first floor. An apartment on the second floor was vacant. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused the fire. A woman is dead after being shot through a window in St. Louis. Police found the woman after responding to the call in the 5600 block of St. Louis Avenue in North St. Louis. Investigators believe the victim had been struck in the side by the bullet that came through the window. We may learn more about a shooting that injured a Maryland Heights detective. The detective was shot Saturday while sitting in his unmarked car in Jennings. He's expected to recover. Investigators will hold a news conference in about an hour to release new information about the incident. The officer was in Jennings taking part in a surveillance operation. Thank you, Anthony. Illinois Governor Pat Quinn wants Illinois residents to donate their frequent flyer miles to members of the military. Quinn announced the Operation Hero Miles program yesterday. It provides airplane tickets to service members so they can travel home on medical leave. The governor's office says the program has provided more than 20,000 donated tickets. The story captivated the Metro. A helicopter pilot and 3 men risked their lives Friday to save 2 deer trapped on the frozen Mississippi River. The deer had been stuck there since Wednesday and were having difficulty moving because of the slippery ice. The Department of Natural Resources told us it was not going to rescue the animals and instead let nature take its course. One of the people who stepped up to help was Todd Thompson. He talked to the gang on Today in St. Louis. You can call the roads in Washington a skating rink. Just look at that. Check it out. One car after another slides down a hill after an overnight ice storm. Ooh. Police eventually shut down the road, but not before a dozen or more cars slammed into each other. There are no reports of any injuries, and we might be in for some slick roads right before Christmas.
Yeah, and it does look like it's a big system.
Christmas music is an important part of the holiday season. One church in Georgia has put a modern twist on the Christmas carol. And as Chris Swigert reports, that twist has gotten the church attention from around the world. That was Chris Swigert reporting, and we just checked. More than 1.5 million people have watched the video on YouTube since it was first posted 1 week ago. That is terrific.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so quick recap of Christmas Eve weather.
I know it's lots of questions starting to pop up. We are still talking about that system moving in, and really we're looking at something that could be along the lines of a winter storm. A little too soon to give you amounts, but we are definitely talking about hazardous travel, and that's probably the most accurate weather forecast I can give you for Friday.
The potential for that.
Yes, definitely.
We're just going to hold on to that potential. Right. Well, that is News Channel 5 at noon. We'll see you again at 5 and 6 and anytime on KSTK.com.
Have a good afternoon.
Good morning. I'm Kathleen Berger in for Jennifer Blome. It's Thursday, November 25th. Happy Thanksgiving.
We hope you have a great day today. I'm Art Holliday, and coming up this morning, we're going to check in with our Renaissance man, photojournalist Joe Young. When he's not holding a camera, he's cooking turkey.
Have their wife do it. That would be my best advice.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to go over great.
Oh, no. My wife's a great cook. I'm just going to let her do it, and I'll go sit on the couch and watch football.
If someone can get their wife to do it, what do you propose they offer to do in return?
Let's see. I really don't know how to answer that, Kathleen. That's a tough question.
Stumped.
Well, Joe,
stumped me. Good one.
Give that some deep thought, and we'll revisit that a little bit later.
All right. I'm having a lot of fun out here.
Because there's a lot riding on your answer.
Right.
The rain has stopped. It's getting cold. Actually, it's not bad with the top off because my hands are freezing out here. So, anyway, we're having fun by myself. Me and the turkey.
Getting warm by the turkey fire. A developing story now. St. Louis police are investigating a suspicious death. Police tell us they found the body of a man in an alley behind the 5,000 block of Wells Avenue early this morning. Police say the man was wrapped in a blanket. Investigators expect a medical examiner to determine the cause of death. This morning, parts of South Korea look like a war zone after an attack by the North. Homes and shops are flattened and broken glass is everywhere. South Korea's president is boosting more troops on the island, and North Korea is warning of more attacks.
That certainly holds true for a family in Wildwood.
They recently lost their home to a fire, but they're alive to tell their story thanks to the actions of 2 young girls. Here's our Ryan Dean. Here's a look at some of this morning's top stories. Police have made another arrest in connection to the multi-million-dollar ATM Solutions heist.
James Wright was in federal court on a charge of interstate.
The lines are already forming for people who are getting ready to shop on Black Friday. 2 college roommates from Rolla are camping out in front of the Best Buy in Fairview Heights. They've been there since Monday. The 2 are staying dry in a tent and are using a generator to stay warm. Best Buy says it will begin handing out line tickets between 3:30 and 4 a.m. Friday morning. Doors open at 5 a.m. We will bring you live reports tomorrow morning from a Best Buy in South County.
News Channel 5 can help you prepare for your Black Friday shopping experience.
We're gathering details about a deadly accident in St. Louis County. An elderly woman has died after being hit by a train at Dealman and Rock Island Industrial right on the Overland and Olivet border. Police are looking for the person who robbed a Commerce Bank in O'Fallon, Missouri. Officers surrounded the building, but the suspect got away. No one was hurt,
and there's no word on how much he got away with. Family and friends say goodbye to a Central Illinois soldier killed in war. Army Corporal James Chad Young died when insurgents attacked his vehicle with an explosive device in Afghanistan this month. The Rochester native was a combat engineer who was serving his second deployment in Afghanistan. Young's funeral was held this morning in Chatham, Illinois. A freshman at the University of Missouri is recovering today after falling from a fifth-floor balcony. Police tell News Channel 5's Jeff Small that Richard Mahan of Chesterfield fell one floor and suffered major injuries. Missouri State University wants to become a tobacco-free campus, but it's not requiring anyone to go cold turkey. The university in Springfield will phase in the policy before becoming tobacco-free in 2012. Indoor smoking has been prohibited for years, but just recently it began limiting outdoor smoking to designated zones. And still to come, living in a closet, how it's becoming a way of life in Japan. In the health beat, how you can lose weight by just changing the way you pay for groceries. And homeowners insurance isn't enough. Why you need to take a note of everything you own before a disaster strikes. You're watching News Channel 5 at noon. The weather here is shaping up to be colder than last week, but expected, I guess.
I got a new chair. I'd have to break it in again.
No, there's nothing wrong with duct taping a chair. Well, our companion website, momslikeme.com, polled area moms asking how great are recliners. 67% say they love them. 14% say they're just okay. Another 14% say they're just a chair. And 5% say their significant others will not part with theirs, of course.
Wow, awesome.
We'll, of course, see you again at 5 and 6 and anytime on KSDK.com.
And today we salute the kindergartners at Lakeview Elementary in O'Fallon, Missouri.
Let her find her people and her grandmama. Amen.
Prayers for a baby whose mother and father abandoned her. Authorities say the baby's mom and dad got into a fight. They both took off in different directions, leaving their baby in the hands of a stranger, Ruth Williams.
They always say, you know, I'm the daycare lady or the block captain, the hero of the block.
But Williams says this baby needs another hero.
That's right.
That's why police and the state investigator for Children's Division are called.
And you're unable to keep the child? I mean, I know you don't have any relation to her.
Well, y'all want me to keep her for a minute?
Well, I mean, if you're able to, it prevents us from taking her into custody, but if you're not able to, then that's the only resort I have, because I don't know of any relatives.
No, y'all need to find out who baby this is.
Right.
Because I can't do
I
that
hear
right
you.
now.
No, I hear you.
It sounds like what she's doing is trying to avoid taking the child into custody and leave the child with the stranger in the meantime.
Kathleen Dubois is an attorney for Legal Services of Eastern Missouri. She represents parents whose children have been taken into protective custody.
This mother is going to be judged as having been negligent for having handed her baby off to somebody else. Isn't Children's Division doing the very same thing?
We placed several calls to Children's Division. Our phone calls were passed along to spokesperson Seth Bundy, who refused to talk with us on the phone, only email, and did not answer all questions. Bundy wrote, "The questions she posed are indicative of trying to determine if a person is related to a child or knows of another available relative. Oftentimes, we have to ask these types of questions indirectly before we obtain all of the facts."
I don't think it was an interview technique, because it obviously this investigator knew this lady wasn't a relative of that child.
Dubois says if a background check was done on Williams, letting her keep the baby for a while would not have been unlawful. But when I asked Children's Division about that, they did not answer that question. Police located the baby's mother that same evening. The state cannot discuss her case.
Some say the St. Louis riverfront will never be the same without the Admiral docked here. People lined Lenore K. Sullivan to watch a piece of history leave St. Louis.
It's not the Admiral they remember. The upper deck already stripped from the ship as the tug and towboats take the Admiral from its dock. The gaping holes in the side are revealed. It's not a sight these ladies have seen before, but they see something many others don't. They see what's in their hearts.
It was just, honey, a place where a lot of people went to dance And when I was a little girl, my parents brought me down to play in the game area.
Janet Maxon's not shy about her fondest memories.
Honey, that was the dance hall. You kind of necked up on the top deck. Probably call it something different now. But in those days, it was kissy, kissy, huggy, huggy, necking.
And probably countless proposals for marriage.
Gave my wife her engagement on the Admiral on the trip.
The couple came to see the Admiral leave with members from their senior living community in Valley Park.
It's just sad to think that the end of that, they're going to take it all apart.
The spokesperson for the owners of the Admiral say initially they wanted to find another owner, but without buyers, the Admiral's fate was sealed.
The boat cannot be returned to its previous status as a cruising vessel without an extraordinary investment. But that white knight never showed up, and it's a business proposition.
The Admiral made the 2-hour journey to Columbia, Illinois, where the ship will be scrapped and recycled.
And I understand their reluctance to see her go, but truly the time has come.
People have been sharing their memories of the Admiral throughout the day on our Facebook page. If you would like to share your memories, all you have to do is look for this story in the headline section of KSDK.com. Live in St. Louis, Kathleen Berger, News Channel 5.
That is all right. Thank you, Kathleen.
Child development experts say kids are attracted to guns. In an unscientific test with the permission of a local daycare, we rolled tape on a toy box that had toy water guns mixed in with an equal number of other toys.
I get a gun.
8 4-year-olds, 4 boys and 4 girls take their turn picking out a toy. 6 of the kids went right for the water guns.
I scored him.
Only 1 boy picked a robot and just 1 girl picked a doll. Not surprising to Cardinal Glennon pediatrician Dr. Heidi Sally.
There's certainly lots of families who don't even allow for play guns at home and things like that. So when they find something that's new and different, I think they're going to explore it.
Dr. Sally says boys in particular have a predisposition to guns. It's not unusual to find various toy guns at homes with young boys.
With boys, they're a little bit more physical and they just play with different toys.
So when the real thing is there, loaded and within reach,
they're going to go for it. They're going to say, what is this? How does it work?
For a small child to fire a handgun, NRA firearms instructor Stephen King has a good idea what it would take.
I don't believe a 3-year-old child would be able to have the dexterity to put the magazine in, rack the slide, maybe remove the safety. The cases that we're seeing is that these guns are loaded, ready to shoot in case of a moment's notice, and the child is picking it up and pulling the trigger.
King says lives can be saved with a lock, which requires a key to unlock. But if you want it quickly, he suggests a safe with a fast and easy keypad.
It takes 4 digits to open it. If for some reason the batteries go dead or you can't remember your combination, you're supplied with a spare key. And to turn that key, it would open up the spring-loaded door. You would reach in, take out your firearm, and protect yourself.
Gun safes are priced at about $100 on up. Gun locks are just a few dollars, or you can get one like this one that the firearm industry provides free of charge from your local law enforcement. No one's been arrested and charged in connection to Butler's death, but Florissant police say, quote, "We hope to have this situation resolved by midday tomorrow, the same day as Butler's funeral." Jessica Francis is collecting generous donations for her cousin Valerie Butler's funeral. It's a day she knew was coming even before Valerie's body was found 1 week ago in this brush alongside Pruitt Farm in Bridgeton.
5 days in a row driving up here, I prayed for God just to send me a sign what was going on with her. 5 days in a row, every day on my way up here, I passed a funeral procession.
And now Butler's funeral will be 1 month to the day she went missing. Last seen in this very bar in Florissant, Gators, where a fundraiser is being planned for funeral expenses. Jessica says police would not have a case without the owner of Gators.
He's my hero.
The owner found this surveillance video of Butler leaving with this man she spent hours with that night. Police called him a person of interest. Now they aren't saying anything about him to the media, but family members say police are telling them he has an arrangement to turn himself in for questioning. All police will tell KSDK is they hope to have the situation resolved by midday tomorrow.
Whether he put the pills down her throat or not, what he did afterwards is a human doesn't do it.
Jessica says Valerie went to a motel party with the man where it's believed she may have overdosed. And then her body was dumped or left for dead.
Her face even in the ground, face down. How do you do that?
Her body is cremated, and like in this picture of her, and in her favorite song called If I Die Young.
It says it in it, lay me down in a bed of roses. And so we're going to give her that.
Family members say the man they are expecting to turn himself in for questioning is a high school classmate of Valerie's from Hazelwood West. They say the two reconnected on Facebook a month before she went missing. Mike?
Kathleen, thanks.
And Chief Isom is now answering questions about this ongoing internal investigation. Isom says that picture was taken at the secured crime scene inside the man's house. He says it's clearly a cell phone picture, and they'll track down who took it and why. Inside the house on Osage, Carlos Bowles lies dead on the floor, his shirt bloodied, shot by return fire. The only people who see this are law enforcement until St. Louis police say someone on the inside took a picture with their cell phone, sending it out through text and emails.
Once you hit send, it could go across America. So I think everybody knows that with the internet age. So for us to speculate on how many people have it, certainly everybody who has internet could have it.
St. Louis Police Chief Dan Isom says crime scene photos are only taken as evidence for investigative purposes, a policy not to be abused.
I'm very confident that it wasn't a forensic photo that was taken by our evidence technician unit. Clearly, it was probably someone who had photo capacity on their phone who took it and forwarded it to someone else.
This is video taken last month of the PD's Evidence Technician Unit training officers on forensic photography. The careful collection of evidence taught here is also discussed at UMSL's Department of Criminology. Associate Professor Tim Maher says he only knows of a handful of cases in the country where an officer crossed the line, taking crime scene pictures using a cell phone. He says making the images public can jeopardize a case and hurt community relations, considering the perceived intent.
I think shock value. I think kind of we got them kind of attitude. Look what happens if you shoot police officers, perhaps.
Chief Isom won't speculate why the photo was taken.
Now, that's under investigation to try to backtrack and find out who exactly took the picture.
Isom says if one of his police officers took that picture, that officer will be disciplined. Kay?